Some houses were never meant to be lived in, while some hold more than just memories. Welcome to Hinton Ampner House, so haunted even the walls have stories. Stories of shadows that seem to move when no one is there. Whispers in the dead of night and something lurking, watching, waiting. For centuries, those that have dared entered spoke of ghostly shadows standing at the foot of their beds, doors slamming on their own, unseen presence breathing down the back of their necks. Some say the house is cursed, or could it be haunted by something far more sinister? Please don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification so you never miss a spine-chilling story. Do you feel that? The cold chill creeping down your spine? You're not alone. Neither were the tenants of Hinton Ampner House. Hinton Ampner House, located in the picturesque countryside of Hampshire, England. This house has history stretching back nearly 1,000 years. Over the years, it has seen many noble families rise and fall. The house has also had many transformations. But what makes this house so fascinating? Could it be the ghostly legends, making it an intriguing historic home? The earliest records of Hinton Ampner House go back to the 13th century, when back then it was a medieval manor. The land was owned by the Bishop of Winchester, and he used to lease this house to many noble families. During this period, it was more of an estate with a lot of farmland and small structures. But things were about to change, as later on it became a grand residence. Fast forward to the 16th century, and a Tudor manor house had now been built. This house was well known for its timbered construction, long dark corridors and looming gables. This house would really set the scene for ghost stories that would become very attached to this house later on. One of the earliest recorded owners of Hinton Ampner was that of the Stukeley family. The family took ownership in 1597, a wealthy and very well connected family. They moved into this house expecting a nice peaceful life in the Hampshire countryside. However, from the very beginning, things just was not right. Servants that worked for the Stukeley family would often report eerie cold drafts coming from nowhere. In the dead of night, they would hear strange scratching noises, but when investigated, couldn't find out where they were coming from. One servant even reported that while they were alone in the house, they had a very overwhelming feeling that they were being watched by unseen eyes. Doors would often slam shut on their own. Heavy footsteps would echo through the long corridors. Eerie whispers would float in the air at night. But the true horror had yet to begin. The most feared part of the house was one room in particular. That was upstairs. This was one of the bedrooms where the family had a truly terrifying encounter and would soon be left empty. A chambermaid also stayed in this very room. After a long day working for the family, she got herself dressed for bed and fell asleep, only to be woken by a dark shadow standing at the foot of her bed, staring at her with hollow, empty eyes. But most disturbing of all is when the family had seen a lady in white floating silently through the halls, her expression one of sorrow and one of rage. Some believe this ghost is a former resident, a woman who had died under violent circumstances. Other rumours was that she was a nun who fell in love with the man of the house, and she met her grisly fate as punishment. The Stukeleys did try to ignore all the strange occurrences, but the activity just kept getting worse. Heavy furniture would be dragged along the floor in the dead of night, even though no one was in that room to move it. Unseen hands would pull on the family's clothing, and objects would often be thrown across the room. Guests that stayed at the house and family members would also report groans coming from within inside the walls. Some have even claimed to see faces inside the windows when the house is completely empty. The family was so scared of what was going on around them, they called in the priest to perform an exorcist to get rid of any spirits that were in this house. Unfortunately, this didn't work, and it only made things worse. One fateful night, the head of the Stukeley's family was awoken very suddenly in the night by a loud scream coming from within the house. The scream was coming from within the chamber. As he lit his candle, he saw something that made him freeze in complete terror. A shadowy figure standing at the end of his bed. He was so terrified at what he had just seen. That very night, the Stukeley's family fled the house, leaving behind most of their belongings, abandoning their home, never to return. For years, the house stood empty. Locals feared the house and refused to go anywhere near it, claiming that in the dead of night, they would hear terrifying screams coming from within the empty house. After the family abandoned their once loved home due to the terrifying things that they had witnessed, the estate was then purchased by Thomas Stowell. However, it was Henry Dunton who fully took ownership in 1793, marking the beginning of the Dunton's family long history at Hinton Ampner. Thomas briefly owned the estate, but not much is recorded about Thomas's time there. It seems that Thomas didn't stay there long. Could it be the spirits forced him to flee this house? On a cold, windy night in 1793, Henry Dunton and his family arrived at their new home, Hinton Ampner. Eager to begin a new chapter in their lives, they soon settled in to their grand home. Little did they know the history would soon repeat itself. Henry was eager to transform this home into a grand Jordan masterpiece. At first, life in their new home seemed to be very peaceful and things were going just fine. Servants who worked for the family enjoyed it there and enjoyed serving the family. One evening, Lady Dunton was sat at her dressing table, brushing her beautiful long hair before she went to bed. But she saw something moving in the mirror. It was a pale woman, her figure blurred like mist, stood behind her just staring at Lady Dunton. She wore a long flowing gown, her face obscured by a white veil. She did not speak, neither did she move. Lady Dunton turned, heart pounding, but no one was there. The room was silent and felt cold. After that night, the lady in grey was seen numerous times just gliding through the corridors late at night. The servants, who would often work late at night, started to experience strange occurrences. Servants would close doors only to walk away and the door slowly open behind them. Others would say they would hear heavy footsteps pacing back and forth in empty rooms. The hauntings got so bad that the servants refused to work at the house after sunset. By the 1800s, the family accepted that they was not alone in this house. The footsteps never ceased, the doors would still open and close on their own, and the lady in white would often be seen gliding through empty corridors. And then, in 1960, disaster struck. A fire ripped through Hinton Ampner, raging through the house, destroying centuries of history. But rumours began with locals saying this was the spirit's final act, reclaiming the house as their very own. And there you have the chilling story of Hinton Ampner. I hope you've enjoyed this story as much as I have sharing it with you all. If you have, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new here, and don't forget to hit that bell notification so you never miss an eerie story again. And if you want to hear more paranormal stories and dive deeper into haunted locations, don't forget to check out my other videos. I've got plenty more ghost stories and chilling investigations for you to explore. Drop a comment below on your thoughts of Hinton Ampner, or if you've experienced any strange occurrences yourself. Until the next time, keep your eyes peeled, as you never know what's lurking round the corner. Sleep tight.
Close to the coast, you can feel the breeze, mindful of ghostly tales washing up on the beach. Dolly is the believer, but Steve don't believe. Together they investigate.
Paranormal by the sea.
Paranormal by the sea. Is there really ghosts, or is it all just fantasy? Dolly is on a mission, she has something to prove. Steve is a true skeptic, together they're unmoved. Paranormal by the sea. Paranormal by the sea. Paranormal by the sea.
Paranormal by the sea.
Dolly stands her ground, so strong and so brave. Steve, being the skeptic, is so quick to run away. Debunk those jump scare sounds when there is drippage all around. If Dolly can't debunk it, she is backed up by Steve. If he can't debunk it, they ask the community. If the community can't debunk it, and they all agree, bringing in the evidence.
Paranormal by the sea.
Paranormal by the sea. Paranormal by the sea.
Paranormal by the sea.
Paranormal by the sea. Is there really ghosts, or is it all just fantasy? Dolly is on a mission, she has something to prove. Steve's a true skeptic, together they're unmoved. Paranormal by the sea. Paranormal by the sea. Paranormal by the sea.